Alright, we're here in the seventh video, and we're going to be working with vectors now, and this is really where R start getting really cool, because we can do stuff that would be a lot of work to do in our head, and even a lot of work to do in a spreadsheet. So we'll be getting into that very soon here, but I'm going to show you how just to get started with vectors. And remember, a vector is really just a list. It can be a list of anything really, but usually it's a list of numbers, because R is that's often what we're working with in numbers. But I'm going to show you how to create a new vector from scratch. And to do that, we're going to use a function, just like we talked about in the last video, or 2 videos ago. But this function is the create vector function, which is the name of the function is just the letter C. And this is a function that we use a lot, so it has a nice short name that's easy and quick to type. And then for parameters, which is the input to the function, we just give it a list of we just give it a list of the elements that we want to create a vector of. So, for example, if I wanted to create a vector of even numbers, I would just type in even numbers separated by commas, like that. We should go ahead and put 0 in there, because 0 is an even number. So all that does is display them, and the reason for that is that, to actually do much with a vector, we need to assign it to a variable. So we'll call this vector evens, and then or this variable evens, and then we'll assign that same thing to it. All right, so now we have a numeric vector called evens, and I can use that. And let's do another one. Let's make a list of let's make one that's not numbers. Let's make a list of the names of some famous pirates. And I'm probably going to speed up the video here, because it's going to take me a minute to type them. But I'm going to name this vector pirates. You'll see that I need to put, when I'm doing a name or a word, like a vector of words, I need to put each element in quotation marks so that R knows that I'm talking about words, and not the name of a variable. So, and that's actually the term for that you'll hear in programming is a string. So a string is just words and letters. So anything I put inside quotation marks, R knows this isn't a number. This isn't supposed to represent a number. This is just a word. So here we go. Okay, so we went ahead and created a vector of strings, or in this case it's the names of pirates. And you can see that R knows that that's a vector of characters, and when it says characters, it just means letters. So that's how we would create. It's exactly the same as creating a vector of numbers. We just use words instead, and we have to put quotes around them. And then there's a couple tricks that you can use, particularly for numbers, to make creating vectors easier. For example, say I wanted to make a vector of all the numbers from 1 to 100. I'd hate to have to type out all of the numbers between 1 and 100. So R has a nice little shortcut for doing a range of numbers, and that is to take the beginning and the end of the range and put a colon between them. So I could say like the numbers between 10 and 20, and it will just list them all for me. So I can make a vector of 1 to 100 by wrapping that up in the C function. So I can say C 1 to 100, and let's name that first 100. All right, so that's for a segment of numbers. And then another trick is if we want to repeat, like if I wanted to say, or if I wanted to have the number 5 repeated 15 times, I can use this function, rep, for repeat. And the rep takes 2 inputs. It takes 2 parameters, and the first one is what do I want to repeat, and that's the number 5. And then the second is the number of times I want to repeat it, which is 15. So there you can see it's the number 5 15 times. So if I wanted to make a vector that was something like 1 2 3 4 5 5 5 5 5 5 5, I could do something like this. So you see, I actually put the rep function right right in there along with the other elements of the vector. And when I execute this, R is going to it's going to run it first and make me a list that says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So now we can go ahead and view that because I assigned it to a variable. It doesn't show up on screen, but I can view that by just typing it in. So there it is. So that worked. So that's it for creating vectors. The next video we'll start to talk about what we can do with them.